Jeudy and Shedeur Sanders had an animated and heated conversation when they were looking at the film earlier today, and there's a clear disagreement as Jeudy is yelling and Shedeur Sanders is just turning away. It looks like he disagrees with what Jeudy is saying was off. Shedeur had 149 passing yards. He was 16 for 25 with a passing touchdown, but this was a big missed opportunity between Jeudy and Shedeur Sanders.
Jeudy and Shedeur Sanders are not on the same page. I'm not exactly sure what they're saying. I'm not a lip reader. If you are, maybe you can help me out. But it looks like they are having a very spirited debate and they are not seeing eye to eye. Shedeur didn't look all that great today. He looked okay. He had a touchdown. He had like 15 completions. I think it was like 150 yards. So I can tell you right now, it looks like Jeudy and Shedeur are not on the same page. In this offense, it is very hard to properly judge Shedeur because all they do is run the fucking ball. I mean, Shedeur ran into a lot of unique looks from that defensive line. And I think they got to him like 3 times. And I mean, I don't want to be a dick, but the Browns O-line ain't that much better than the one he had at Colorado. You know, what people got to understand is the Browns suck. They always suck. I mean, they got the best defense in the NFL and they still suck. But as it stands right now, this is the Browns offense. 100 carries from Juckins and the occasional deep ball that sometimes ends up going well for them. Now, before I let y'all go, watch this. Shedeur tries to connect with Jeudy right here. They're just obviously not on the same page. Look what he does. Look at his head. I don't like Jeudy.
Jimmy Haslam just witnessed something that has him furious with Jeudy, and Browns insiders are saying the owner is done watching his 5th-round investment get disrespected on national
All right, let's break down what just went down on national television, because this is so much bigger than just a sideline spat. After Jeudy was caught, clear as day on camera, absolutely berating Shedeur Sanders on the sideline during that brutal 49ers loss. I'm talking clapping aggressively in his face, standing over him, yelling at him, "That's wrong, that's wrong." The fallout has been swift and severe. Sources deep inside the Browns organization are saying that owner Jimmy Haslam is asking some incredibly serious questions. Think about it from his perspective. Why is a receiver on a $52 million contract attacking a rookie quarterback instead of, actually catching the footballs thrown his way? And when you look at the stats, they're not just bad, they're brutal. In Shedeur's 2 starts, Jeudy has a pathetic 4 catches, 2 drops, and 1 fumble. Yet you never saw him get in Dillon Gabriel's face like this, and you certainly never saw him try this with a veteran like Joe Flacco. It all goes back to what Steve Smith said years ago when he called Jeudy just a guy. It looks like the Browns ownership is finally waking up and realizing he might have been, and let me tell you, what happened behind closed doors after this game is about to shock every single Browns fan.
Or the people that's watching at home when the cameras pick it up. Because the cameras gonna pick it up. When you start doing this here, Ocho, and you start doing that, you already know the camera.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, it's 375 cameras out there now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, hold on. I didn't see that situation. I must have missed that.
Yeah, I think it was the start. I think it was the start of the 4th quarter, Ocho.
Jeudy and Shedeur Sanders had an animated and heated conversation when they were looking.
Jeudy, wasn't you the one that slowed down when you got that catch the other day and got that crazy fumble? Hey, my mans, relax. Is you cool?
Look, I'm going to tell you something that's unfolding in Cleveland right now that almost nobody is talking about, and it's absolutely critical. Jimmy Haslam did not spend months defending the controversial decision to draft Shedeur Sanders, fighting back against all the negative national narratives, and dealing with constant accusations that he forced his general manager Andrew Berry to pick him. He didn't watch people claim head coach Kevin Stefanski never wanted him, just to turn on the TV and see Jeudy completely destroy the kid's confidence on the sideline in front of 70,000 fans at Huntington Bank Field. Let me really paint the picture for you, because this incident goes so much deeper than just some heated sideline moment. The Browns are trailing the 49ers in the 4th quarter of Shedeur's 2nd ever career start. The rookie quarterback is sitting on the bench with his offensive linemen, studying plays on the Microsoft Surface tablet, doing precisely what a professional dedicated quarterback is supposed to do when they're trying to figure things out and improve. Then here comes Jeudy, storming over with an absolute attitude, clapping his hands aggressively right in Shedeur's face, leaning over him, and just completely going off. The CBS cameras caught the entire ugly exchange. You can literally see Jeudy standing over Shedeur barking at him, and when Shedeur, like any competitor would, tries to defend himself, Jeudy just keeps repeating, "That's wrong, That's wrong. As if he's the quarterback, as if he's the one in charge of the offense, as if he has any right whatsoever to talk down to the very person throwing him the football. It got so out of hand that center Ethan Pochik, a veteran leader, had to physically step in and separate them. That's how disrespectful and unprofessional Jerry Jeudy was being. A veteran offensive lineman had to play peacemaker simply because a $52 million receiver couldn't manage to control his own emotion.
Earlier saying that Shedeur Sanders has 2 starts. And those 2 starts, Jerry Jeudy has 4 catches, 2 drop passes, and 1 fumble. Through 10 games with Dillon Gabriel and Joe Flacco, Jeudy had 28 catches and 8 drops, a lousy 2.8 catches per game average. And this is how he disrespects his QB. You know, is what somebody posted. And if you look at this specific play right here, they're saying that Shedeur overthrew Jerry.
Now here's where the story gets really interesting and the dominoes start to fall. Sources inside the Browns organization are confirming that Jimmy Haslam saw that footage, and he immediately started asking some very pointed questions. Think about this. The very same owner who publicly defended the Shedeur Sanders draft selection, who explicitly told reporters, if you'd have told me Friday night we were going to pick Shedeur, I would have said that's not happening, but Andrew Berry made the call, is now watching his personal quarterback investment get verbally attacked by a receiver who can't seem to even catch the ball. And you want to know what has Haslam absolutely livid? The numbers. The statistics don't lie. And frankly, they are downright embarrassing for Jerry Jeudy. In Shedeur Sanders' 2 career starts, Jeudy has a measly 4 catches on 7 targets. That's a 57% catch rate, which is abysmal for a supposed #1 receiver. On top of that, he has 2 dropped passes and 1 fumble, that ridiculous play last week where he caught the ball and got stripped from behind with 0 situational awareness. But let's compare that to his performance through 10 games with Dillon Gabriel and Joe Flacco as his quarterbacks, shall we? In that span, Jeudy had 28 catches with 8 drops. That averages out to just 2.8 catches per game, which is already lousy for a player with his contract. But here's the most telling part. We don't have a single piece of footage of Jerry Jeudy getting in Dillon Gabriel's face on the sideline like this. We don't have tapes of him clapping in Joe Flacco's face. There is no evidence of him disrespecting those quarterbacks when they were throwing bad passes. So the million-dollar question is, why is he coming at Shedeur Sanders like this? Why is he targeting the rookie? Why is he attacking the 5th-round pick who Jimmy Haslam personally went to bat for? Let me give you some crucial context about Jerry Jeudy that every Browns fan needs to understand. This guy has a well-documented history of not being able to handle even the slightest bit of criticism. Remember when Hall of Famer Steve Smith called him out? Let me remind you, because the story is legendary and it explains everything you need to know about Jeudy's character. A few years ago, Steve Smith was on his podcast, Cut to It, and he was talking about receivers who, let's say, hadn't lived up to the hype. The word Smith used to describe Jerry Jeudy was JAG, which stands for just a guy. Just an average wide receiver who was taken in the 1st round but simply wasn't producing like a 1st-round talent. That's a statement that, as it turns out, was incredibly prophetic.
Try to trip him up, huh?
Sure. I think those 4th and 1, those 2 4th and 1s that didn't work. And did you like Kevin having the aggressiveness there, even backed up in your territory?
I mean, first, that's a rude question to ask. If I think, you know, it was a great call by my coach, you know.
You like the aggression. Not you like the call, like do you like
I like being out there.
So when Steve Smith eventually saw Jerry Jeudy in person, Smith tried to do the right thing and apologize face-to-face like a real man. He walked up and said, "Hey, I know I said some things in the past I probably shouldn't have, and I'm sorry." That right there is pure class. That's a Hall of Famer showing the maturity to address his own criticism directly. And do you know what Jerry Jeudy's response was? He cursed at Steve Smith. He spat back, "I don't mess with you," and repeated it laced with profanity. He straight up disrespected a Hall of Famer who was actively trying to show him respect. And Steve Smith, being the absolute legend that he is, did not back down 1 inch. He went right back at Jeudy and said, "I'm sorry that I said you were a jag. Just a guy, an average wide receiver that they used a 1st-round pick on that isn't doing anything." I hope today you actually show up in a way that you haven't showed up in the last couple years since they drafted you. Then Smith took it a step further, and this part is critical. He said, when teams call me and ask should they trade for you, I will say no. Don't trade for Jerry Jeudy because he's mentally unable to handle constructive criticism from people who watch football. Smith called him a Tier 3 receiver, not elite, not even good, but Tier 3. And you know what? Steve Smith was absolutely right, because here we are years later and Jerry Jeudy is still demonstrating that he can't handle adversity. He's still showing that when things aren't going his way, instead of looking in the mirror, he wants to point the finger and blame everyone else. Now let's talk about what really happened in that 49ers game, because the context is everything. In the first quarter, Shedeur Sanders threw a deep ball to Jerry Jeudy that had a real chance to be a touchdown. The ball was thrown perfectly downfield. Jeudy had a step on his defender, but the pass sailed just slightly out of his reach. Now, a lot of analysts are saying that if Jeudy had just kept running at full speed, the ball would have landed right in his hands in stride for a massive gain. Instead, Jeudy visibly slowed down on his route, and after the incompletion, you could see Jeudy on the sideline shaking his head as if it was all Shedeur's fault.
And if you look at this specific play right here, they're saying that Shedeur overthrew Jerry. A lot of people feel like if Jerry would have just kept running, the ball would have landed right in his hand in stride, and he would have been able to potentially go in for a score. And let's not forget, Jerry Jeudy, was it just last week, where he made that catch, and you can see right here, just no awareness, was stripped from behind.
But here's the thing. There was wind in that game. Shedeur himself admitted after the game that wind was a factor. He said, all quarterbacks know you got to cut through the wind whenever you throw. I was just calculated off. It was just a miss. It was just a missed shot. When I missed that shot, I got to stay on myself to keep shooting. That's accountability right there. That's a rookie quarterback taking responsibility for a throw that didn't connect. But where's Jerry Jeudy?
Where is Jerry Jeudy's accountability? Where's his admission that maybe, just maybe, he could have run his route better, or that he could have adjusted to the ball in the air? Instead, Jeudy spent the entire game visibly frustrated. He finished with just 3 catches for a measly 20. That's all he managed to produce. And then, at the start of the fourth quarter, when the Browns are down and desperately need some offensive firepower, that's when Jeudy decides to walk over to Shedeur and start a public confrontation. The specific play that set Jeudy off was a 3-and-out possession that gained only 1 yard. It ended with Shedeur failing to connect with Jeudy on a mid-range route, and instead of letting the coaches handle it, instead of pulling Shedeur aside privately to talk through what he saw on the play, Jeudy chose to make it a public spectacle. He created a scene. He embarrassed his own rookie quarterback on national television. Now here's where Jimmy Haslam's involvement becomes so critical to this entire story. The Browns owner has been incredibly vocal and public about supporting Shedeur Sanders ever since the draft. When figures like Eric Mangini and others suggested that Haslam had forced the Shedeur pick on Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, Haslam went public immediately to shut that narrative down. He stated clearly, "We have a good process." At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur. In that moment, Haslam was defending his GM and the integrity of their process, but he was also implicitly defending Shedeur by making it crystal clear that the entire organization believed in him. Then, fast forward to October, when Diana Rossini from The Athletic asked Haslam about all the noise surrounding Shedeur Sanders and why he wasn't getting playing time, Haslam doubled down. He said, "Listen, he's a serious football player. And inside the building, there's no noise. He comes to work every day just like everybody else. And he's trying to get better as a football player."
And it's a shame because I feel like this Cleveland Browns defense is doing some amazing things. I mean, they're always right there in games. I think the game was lost today when the special teams receiver, when he fumbled the football right there, I believe it was like the 15-yard line or something like that after a punt. I said, oh, it's over now.
That is the owner of the team, standing up for his quarterback. That is the owner unequivocally saying, I don't care what the media thinks and I don't care what the fans think. This kid is doing everything the right way inside our building. So, just imagine for a second how Jimmy Haslam feels watching Jerry Jeudy, a guy he's paying $52.5 million over 3 years with $41 million fully guaranteed, publicly disrespecting that very same quarterback. The same quarterback that Haslam has gone out of his way to defend in the press on multiple occasions. Sources are now saying that after the game, Haslam had some very direct conversations with both Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski about the incident. He wanted to know precisely why Jerry Jeudy felt so comfortable attacking Shedeur like that in a public forum. He demanded to know what the coaches were going to do to address it. And he wanted to make it abundantly clear that this kind of toxic behavior is completely unacceptable in his organization. Because here is the cold, hard reality of the situation. Jeudy is supposed to be the leader of that receiving corps. He's the veteran, he's the Pro Bowl player, he's the guy making the big money. But instead of lifting Shedeur up, instead of helping his rookie quarterback develop, and instead of being a consummate professional, he's actively tearing him down. And let's not forget for a second, Jerry Jeudy has been absolutely awful this season. He's caught just 35 passes for 421 yards and a single touchdown through 11 games. He currently leads the entire NFL with 9 drops. 9. That's not just bad performance, that's downright embarrassing for a receiver of his supposed talent level. When the Browns traded for Jeudy from the Broncos, they only gave up a 5th and a 6th round pick, which seemed like an absolute steal on paper. Then they rewarded him with that 3-year, $52.5 million extension. And what have they gotten in return for that massive investment? Drops, fumbles, and a terrible attitude. One analyst from the Big Play Cleveland show said it perfectly. He's the most bar-none embarrassing wide receiver in the NFL right now. That's 8th grade football type stuff.
What did you see on those 2 4th and 1s that didn't work? And did you like Kevin having the aggressiveness there even backed up in your territory?
I mean, first, that's a rude question to ask. If I think, it was a great call by my coach,
You like the threat? Not do you like the call? Like, do you like?
I like being out there playing. so whatever that comes with, it comes with. We not gonna be here.
And you know what? He's absolutely right. Because if you're Jerry Jeudy and you're struggling this badly to catch simple passes, if you're leading the entire league in drops, if you just fumbled the ball last week with zero awareness of your surroundings, maybe, just maybe, you should focus on your own game before you even think about attacking your quarterback. Now let's talk about what Shedeur said after the game, because this is the part that truly shows you why this kid is special. After being completely disrespected on the sideline, after being publicly attacked by his own receiver, Shedeur could have easily thrown Jeudy under the bus. He had every right to tell reporters, yeah, he was wrong, he shouldn't have come at me like that. But do you know what he did instead? He took the high road. He showed a level of maturity that is well beyond his years. When he was asked about the offensive struggles and his relationship with Jeudy, Shedeur said, when we got in certain passing situations and field position, everything like that, it wasn't the best. It was a comfort level. As players and teammates, we have to be able to gel with each other and be comfortable with each other in every situation. That takes time. This team is not going to be a microwave thing. That is pure wisdom right there. That's a rookie quarterback understanding that you can't just throw him into a struggling offense and expect instant chemistry, especially when he spent months stuck on the bench, not getting any first-team reps, because Kevin Stefanski was stubbornly playing Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel ahead of him. Then Shedeur said something even more revealing. He said, of course you want to get Jeudy the ball, but you gotta understand it takes time. I'm more of a trust person. That's just what it boils down to. We have to spend time on task with all those guys and be able to trust and be able to see things at the same lens. Read between the lines on that quote. Shedeur is telling you politely that he doesn't fully trust Jerry Jeudy yet. And can you possibly blame him? The dude fumbled last week. He's dropping passes left and right. He's not running his routes to the correct depth, and now he's attacking Shedeur on the sideline. Shedeur went even deeper when he said, "A lot of time out there passing-wise, we're not seeing everything at the same lens. Even guys aren't in the same spot that we've seen in practice." That's the most diplomatic way possible of saying his receivers aren't where they're supposed to be. That's a polite way of saying his receivers are not doing their jobs correctly. And guess who he's primarily talking about? Jeudy. But even after all of that, Shedeur still refused to throw Jeudy under the bus. When a reporter tried to bait him asking about Kevin Stefanski's aggressive fourth down play calling to get Shedeur to criticize his coach, he shut it down immediately. He said, "First, that's a rude question to ask. If I think it was a great call by my coach, I like being out there playing. We're not gonna be here and point fingers at no coach, or do anything like that. That's extremely disrespectful. That, my friends, is leadership. That is exactly how a franchise quarterback is supposed to carry himself. Even when things are going horribly wrong, even when you're getting disrespected by your own teammates, you don't create more drama. You stay professional, you protect your team." And you know who is watching all of this unfold? Jimmy Haslam. He's watching Shedeur handle intense adversity with pure class. He's watching Shedeur take accountability. He's watching Shedeur defend his coaches and his teammates, even when they don't deserve it. And then on the other side, he's watching Jeudy act like a petulant child, watching him attack the quarterback, watching him make excuses, and watching him fail to produce on the field, while cashing those. Insiders are now saying that Jimmy Haslam has already told Andrew Berry that significant changes need to be made. That the culture in Cleveland needs to be about accountability, not finger point. That veterans need to start acting like veterans, not like spoiled divas who can't handle a little bit of adversity. Some people are even suggesting that the Browns might aggressively look to trade Jeudy in the offseason. Because if you're Jimmy Haslam, and you're paying a receiver $52 million to drop passes and publicly attack your franchise quarterback, why on earth would you keep him around?
Another part, what Shedeur can learn from this is you definitely have these wide receivers, and they have this type of personality. I mean, you could look at some of the greater wide receivers that, have berated quarterbacks over there on the sideline. I mean, even if you look at what's going on with A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, right?
The Browns have 5 critical games left in this season. Head coach Kevin Stefanski has already confirmed that Shedeur Sanders will get the start in Week 14 against the Tennessee Titans, so somehow Shedeur and Jeudy are going to have to find a way to work together. But the real question is, can Jeudy finally put his massive ego aside? Can he actually behave like a professional and genuinely support his young quarterback? Or is he going to continue this pathetic pattern of blaming everybody else when things don't go his way? Because if he keeps acting like this, Jimmy Haslam is going to make a decision, and I can promise you, it's not going to be in Jeudy's favor. Remember, this is the exact same owner who defended Shedeur Sanders when almost nobody else would. The same owner who called him a serious football player when people were labeling him a distraction. The same owner who backed the decision to draft him even when it looked like Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski didn't even want him. Jimmy Haslam has invested in Shedeur Sanders, and not just financially as a 5th-round pick, but emotionally. He has put his own reputation on the line for this kid. He's defended him publicly time and time again. He's made it abundantly clear that Shedeur is a core part of the Browns' future. So when Jeudy disrespects Shedeur on that sideline, he's not just disrespecting the quarterback, he's disrespecting Jimmy Haslam's entire vision for this franchise. He's disrespecting the very culture the owner is desperately trying to build. And that is simply not going to fly in Cleveland. The Browns' defense is playing incredible lights-out football right now. Myles Garrett is having an MVP-caliber season with 18 sacks. They are, without a doubt, one of the best defensive units in the entire NFL. They are single-handedly keeping Cleveland in games despite having the 32nd-ranked offense in football. But you cannot win games when your veteran receivers are attacking your rookie quarterback instead of helping him succeed. You can't build a winning culture when your $52 million receiver is more worried about his own stats than the team's success. And Jimmy Haslam knows that. Andrew Berry knows that. Kevin Stefanski knows that. The only question is, does Jerry Jeudy know? Or is he gonna keep playing the victim, keep blaming everybody else, and keep proving Steve Smith right when he called him just a guy? Because right now Jerry Jeudy isn't even living up to just a guy's standards. He's playing like somebody who doesn't even deserve to be on an NFL roster. And if he keeps disrespecting Shedeur Sanders, he might not be on the Browns roster for much longer. Jimmy Haslam didn't build his business empire by tolerating people who tear others down instead of lifting them up. And he's sure as hell not going to tolerate it in his football organization either. So Jerry Jeudy better get his act together, and fast, because the clock is ticking and the Browns owner has seen more than enough. Now I want to ask you something direct. Do you think the Browns should trade Jerry Jeudy? Should they just cut him, or should they give him one more chance to prove he can finally be a professional? And more importantly, is Shedeur Sanders showing you enough to believe he is the franchise quarterback Cleveland has been desperately searching for since night? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you think Shedeur Sanders handled this entire situation with more class than Jerry Jeudy deserves, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we are covering every single moment of this Browns drama. This story is far from over, and something tells me Jerry Jeudy is about to learn a very hard lesson about respect.